All right.
Yeah.
What was the
Yo, this episode is brought to you by Uphold Nutrients.
Uphold Nutriment?
Nutriments.
Where he did, he just completely
Dickhead.
butchered.
We gotta pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills. But what were you saying about the sprinter,
All right.
the one who's going viral?
What I was saying was last week we talked about Monique's address women of color wearing bonnets out in public. Reggie had no issue with it at all.
No.
You kind of were. I think you kind of were like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally against it. I was saying, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the image that we present. So now we come to I want to congratulate the young lady's name. I'll find her name before this is over. Congratulate the young lady who got named the fastest woman in the world or America.
Word.
The young black girl.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about and we think about our image as African Americans, this girl has 6-inch fingernails,
Word.
orange hair,
Uh-huh.
tattoos, and piercings.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do we, gentlemen, and I'll pose a question to you all, feel some sort of way about that?
Fuck with it.
Or that
110%.
that has anything to do with our image at all?
Nah,
Her being the
it.
fastest woman in the world as a black girl.
I fuck with it 120%.
Let me play devil's advocate. How else is she supposed to look?
Word.
Again? I'm being neutral. I'm just curious. I want to stir a debate here. How is she supposed to look? You can answer, Link.
Supposed to look?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, anybody can look the way, however they want to look. But when we talk about an image, like if you saw somebody with black eyeliner, black fingernails, a black trench coat, and black 6-inch boots, they would be presenting themselves as what?
A gothic?
A gothic person.
Well,
You see how easy that was? We didn't say race, color, nothing. I named 3 clothing items, and that's how they present themselves.
I don't think I think you're conflating two separate things, though.
How, when I'm talking about image and the image that you portray for a group of people.
What you're describing is something that's like neutral to race. But everything you described in terms of hair weave, nails, tat, so on and so forth is usually directly associated with African Americans. So for her to go out unapologetically being herself, she's not gonna go out there with like, nappy hair or like, her hair not done or pressed or whatever it is. Like most African American athletes, like sort of like tone themselves down to like a acceptable level for the viewers, tone down what they perceive to be their personalities or whatever. She's not doing that, and she's winning.
I'm confused. What's the contention?
Because people are saying it looks ghetto and it's trashy and it's a bad representation. But how is it? Because if anything, it speaks to the fact that she can look the way she wants to look and still succeed and do better than everybody else in the space.
First of all, I think it really doesn't matter, and I think it just shows you how like people just won't fully accept us in certain.
And I have daughters.
Yeah.
So for them to look at that and feel like, okay, I can like weave, but still win. I don't have to conform to people's ideas of what success looks like or what I'm supposed to look like.
So who's talking, not to cut you off?
Not success. I'm talking about appearance.
Who's talking down on it? The Olympics or?
No, the Olympics, like black women are a protected group, so you're not really going to hear too many people publicly talking about a black woman on a international stage like that.
Yeah.
But in certain pockets and in certain communities, I have heard that.
Trolls. You talking about trolls? Like,
nah, I wouldn't even say trolls. There's people in. I would say in my demographic, the later end of millennials. Like, I mean, I don't think that's like acceptable. You know what I mean? Or not necessarily that it's not acceptable, but I do automatically have preconceived notions about someone who presents themselves that way.
Okay, but what are your
absolutely I do.
What are your preconceived notions about her?
She's a talented rat.
Oh,
she's a talented, like you mean like
a gifted rat,
like a hood rat? Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah.
When you say rat, sometimes people take it as like she snitched.
I mean, No, rat like
She's a hood rat.
the hood rat. Yeah, a talented,
Okay.
gifted hood rat.
So if she
Which
took
is
her,
fine.
if she took her weave out and put makeup on her tats and took the nails off, you'd be more accepting of her.
Not necessarily more accepting of her because I accept the way she is, but I wouldn't perceive her as a rat.
What if she had the same accessories, the hair, the nails, and all that, tattoos, but she was of Caucasian race? Would you still look at her like a rat?
Of course he wouldn't.
How you gonna answer for me? He asked me a question. As much as you want to be me, Reggie, like you can't, man.
Answer the
You
question.
need about 8 more inches, champ.
Pause.
I don't think Reggie wears weave.
Absolutely, I would look at her as promiscuous, as trashy, as
So you're old
she probably overdosed a couple times, may have an eating disorder.
But she probably eat better than you, my nigga. She's a fucking world champion.
We're talking about perception, though. We're
Okay,
talking about
now-
how you perceive,
okay,
and we're not
about
gonna
reality.
make it, and we're not gonna necessarily make it like it's just because she's African American, because there are unacceptable, or there are not, or social taboos in the way certain white people dress,
Okay,
the way certain
so-
Chinese people dress, Japanese, like they get perceived a certain kind of way
so
for
can I answer
how
that?
they present us.
So my thing is, anytime you've seen an African American woman wearing those things, she's been presented to you in the media as ratchet. So 9 times out of 10, if you're watching a woman, and if there's a woman on television and she has weave and nails and so on and so forth, she's fighting, she's bickering. It's basically lowbrow behavior, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
you've been to a degree, and most of these programs are produced exclusively by people who aren't us or look like us.
No, we've done satire on women who wear color hair. Going back to Baps, going back to Friday,
I
the girl who's
understand,
in love
but
with
the
Craig.
girls-
Come on now.
The girls in Baps though weren't like hood rats necessarily, and I don't know who directed the movie. Hold on. Let me
Okay, all right. I'm gonna wait for it. I'm gonna see if you can land this plane.
I don't know who directed this movie, and I don't know what studio produced it, but I very much doubt the people who are in the rooms making those decisions look like us. So
I mean, you don't know who directed it, you don't know who produced it, and you're pretty sure that those are some pretty strong broad stroke statements to say.
But I would don't talk to me about strokes, my nigga. But like, anyways, like you're a wild boy.
Let me say that. Go ahead.
But like, I would bet anything they're white. What I'm saying is, to a degree, to close the point, you've been programmed to believe this about your people. But if all you saw on the other spectrum was women that look like that winning at life and behaving a certain way, you would think differently. It's like you're programmed subconsciously to believe that this person that looks like X behaves negatively, and this person that looks like Y behaves positively.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, look, I'm not trying to be neutral Al over here, right? But let's just say, I don't know. I don't really follow us. I caught the sound bites and clips of the race and all that, so I don't know her, right? Who cares if she's, like you say, a fast rat? Who cares? Like, why do we care? You know what I mean? Like, why is this like a thing? Like, okay, she wears long nails and she got weave in her hair. Why? So what? Okay.
I'm talking about her perception. Oh, Reggie, Baps was directed by Robert Townsend. He also did another black satire movie about Hollywood called Hollywood Shuffle. The producers were Mark
you care,
Berg,
black man?
and Jay Stern.
All right, so Robert Townsend directed Baps.
He does a lot of satire movies.
And I'm be 100. Like, Robert Townsend directed Baps. I'm sure he's brought many movies to the studios, but they chose that one. What studio?
Ice Cube directed Friday. What's that movie with Jamie Foxx?
I'm not talking about Friday. I'm talking about Baps.
Come on, man. I'm not being a prisoner of the moment saying, I will take your point in terms of being brainwashed, but then I would exchange it for how many years? It didn't just happen within the last 5 years, 10 years. Like there's been people have always been perceived a certain way by how they present themselves. And then, like, just to bring it back full circle, I'm just talking about the African American image.
Okay, bet. But what I'm saying is, we shouldn't have to subscribe to. We have to look like X. That's like someone saying that, oh well, an African American man with locks is unprofessional.
How do you think she was supposed to look? Like what would have been acceptable where it's like nobody would have talked about it?
I made no judgment on how she should look. I was posing the question on how do you think she's perceived, and is that positive or negative for an African American image?
Now we're making a full circle. Is it positive, negative? I think that things are a little bit. I think in the athletic world, it's no skin off her back, and ours. I don't think. Now, if she was let's keep it real. If she was the first lady, and she had nails out like that for some reason, I think it would have rippled a bit further. But as far as her just being in like I said, in the athletic world, I don't think it's really gonna do much.
I feel her hair and her nails and her tats tell a story of she doesn't come from the same place that other Olympians comes from.
Clearly,
absolutely, I agree with that too.
And she fought like the odds, which were probably astronomical, to get to the point where now she's representing the United States.
Would you let the first lady get away with that though?
Get away with what?
Nobody. I mean, it depends on what party she stood at, but it would be met with an uproar if the first lady presented herself even halfway like that.
Because if you look at the shit with Donald Trump like has like mad divorces, mad like affairs, mad kids.
So you trying to compare men and women? You feminist?
No. I'm just saying,
piece of shit.
If you took
you can use Melania would have been a better example than Donald Trump.
No, what I'm saying is, if you took the stuff that Donald Trump did and you applied it to Obama, people would have been like, oh, he's like, that's ghetto. That's how a black dude would move. He got baby mothers and mad divorces and that.
You remember when Obama wore a tan suit and they called him a pimp?
Yeah, so basically we're held to a different stance. So now for us to be able to enter spaces that weren't designed for us and to win without conforming is a positive. I want my daughters to look at the world and be able to feel like I don't have to conform or change who I am or pander or sort of
bend
exactly to make that work for me. Like, that's the world I like. I mean, I show up to meetings in a hoodie. Now you're gonna have the argument, oh, I'm a tech dude and blah blah, but that's not necessarily true.
It kind of. Now, do you want your daughters to have orange and blue weave and tattoos on their chest, neck, and arms?
I want them to be happy, and I want them to win, bro.
That's not the question I asked, though.
I want them to do whatever makes them happy, as long as it doesn't cause them bodily harm.
So let me ask the question again. Do you want your daughters to have orange or blue weave, 6-inch nails, and butterfly tattoos on their neck, chest, and arms?
If they're
I'm just asking a question.
Let me finish. Like, when we were having the conversation about bonnets, like, they've left the house in bonnets.
Do you want your daughters to have butterfly tattoos on their chest and neck?
Can I finish?
Orange or blue weave?
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead. But I'll just wish you would answer my question.
I am trying to answer your question.
Okay, Kevin.
I know.
Kevin,
ma'am.
Nah, you right.
Ma'am.
Reggie kind of dodging a little bit. I keep it a buck.
I'm not dodging. I'm getting to the point. What I'm saying. Say less, say more. I'm answering all of your questions. I'm answering all of your questions. What I'm saying is, in regards to the tattoos and the hair and whatever makes them happy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But keep in mind, at the end of the day, the thing I care about the most is their happiness. And no, whatever hair they got on or whatever tats they got on, they jump out of luxury cars. Their bank accounts look crazy. You know what I mean? That's all that matters. You can judge all you want. Just know, whatever whip they jumping out of looks nicer than yours.
But isn't it our job?
This nigga said a whole bunch of goddamn nothing.
No,
Can I chime in on that?
Do you want a male masseuse or a female masseuse? Do you want Burger King or do you want McDonald's? Do you, Reg, want
Listen, man. Wait, I'm trying to.
I just want everybody to be happy. I want world peace. I want peace in the Middle East.
I
Let
want
me
my
say
kids
something.
to be happy however they want to look, as long as it's not detrimental to them. That's it.
We're not even talking about happiness, though. We're talking about
Why aren't we?
image.
Their image doesn't
So
matter
you
to
have
me.
no idea. You have no idea of the image you would like your daughters to present as a father. You just want them to be happy. So if heroin made them happy, if cocaine, if
I
bulimia made
just
them
said,
happy,
as long as it's not detrimental to them, dickhead.
Ooh, called you a general.
but we can't argue that how you present yourself can be detrimental.
But
Based on
How?
what circles you are trying to enter, it can be detrimental.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if you're good enough, you can circumvent that. Is what I'm saying.
Hey,
All right,
fellas, is it fair to say?
Ooh, this was, he's nice though. He's nice.
He presidential, political. Look, listen,
But it's not,
diplomatic.
He's
it's not
nice.
political.
No.
It's just like we can exist in these spaces. I could walk into these meetings with people looking however they want to look, have business suits and whatever, and I could walk in there in a hoodie,
but check
get the
this out.
bag, and it is what it is.
But check this out. We all got daughters.
Talking
Let
the
me
way I
say
wanna
something. Like,
talk.
we all got daughters, right? Wouldn't you? I'm asking both of you. Wouldn't you say it's part of our job to kind of help curate or try to push them in the right direction? So, if we say like whatever makes them happy, I think it kind of takes responsibility away from dads. Like, we're supposed to be like, yeah, I dig it, baby, but I've been around longer than you. You know what I'm saying? This is where you need to. You don't think so?
That's absolutely the. I used to think like that, right? Now, for some reason, and I think it started with our parents, we assume or we're programmed to think because they're younger that we have all the answers,
No, we
and
don't.
somehow they aren't aware or whatever, but they're coming up in a space that you're not plugged into. You understand
Absolutely,
what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Everything our parents told us to stop doing is exactly what people are making millions of dollars doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they didn't want us to win. They were just applying standards.
But it's a
from
certain structure that they set.
There's
When you just
they're
flip
applying
it over,
standards from another
1 second.
generation to a generation now, and it doesn't apply. You're applying fucking MySpace standards to a TikTok generation. The shit don't go.
But I think you're right. I agree with you. I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. Not that you're telling them not what to do, but I really believe as you're a leader. At the end of the day, we're all leaders. It's our job to kind of just like direct. Now, I'm not telling you no, but it's like I could just tell you the ins and outs of the
If
situation.
your daughter wanted to be a rapper, you
Okay.
discourage her to be a rapper.
If I didn't want her to be,
Yeah. Even though this is what she really wants to do, you would discourage her.
I wouldn't discourage her, but I would tell her the realities, and she could do whatever she wants from there. It's
Okay.
my job to just
But-
go ahead, like.
one of the reasons why I think is the coddling of Americans is this whole notion of I just want you to be happy in a life where we fought against 100 million other sperms to survive, and we avoided cancer and abortion and C-section, getting our throats cut during C-section, and this notion of just
We did what, Luke?
nothing. Anyway, this notion of just be happy.
deep.
If we gave our kids we just wanted them to be happy, they would get anything they want. They could eat cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They would have
That's not what
no
I'm saying.
nutrition. They could go to bed whenever they want. They have no structure. They have no boundaries because we just want them to be happy. As teenage girls, they could wear whatever they wanted to, walk down the street, take the bus, even though you were driving to school, because that would make them happy. Where would you draw the line? That's why I reject the notion of whatever makes them happy.
You're
And I'm saying, what would you
right,
want as a father in terms of how they presented themselves?
You're absolutely right. I want them to respect themselves. I'm not letting them walk out the house half naked. And keep in mind, they're at an age where this is acceptable to me. It's not like when they were like 7, I would let them color their hair and put nails on.
Okay.
But they're at an age where they're figuring themselves out, and I don't want to restrict that. Discipline.
I get where you're going.
Discipline has nothing to do with the color of your hair. Responsibility has nothing to do with the color of your hair. They're straight A students. They're disciplined. They're like 2 of them have entrepreneurial mindsets. Before they,
But a lot of times,
before
for
they're
them to
15,
get that way, you had to go against their happiness. right?
No, not really. There's ways you can engage with them.
But generally
Yeah.
you do.
It's not against their happiness. I'm not forcing them to do anything, and it's not against their happiness. Would they prefer not to do chores? Probably, but it's not making them unhappy. It's an inconvenience.
But I think let's not conflate happiness with, or sadness with adversity either.
Exactly.
You need adversity. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we're like I said, that's my favorite word, curate. We're supposed to curate an environment that will help lead them in the right way. I agree with Reggie to an extent. You don't want to, constrict them to the point where we're rejecting you and they want to go against the grain, but you don't want to, can't be wild, wild west either. You know what I'm saying? We just have to create an environment where it's like, you know what? I set these in around, I groom my family where they're going to make right decisions. And it sounds like when you expounded, I understood it a little bit more when you did it just now.
How open are how open are you to learning from your kids?
Big time.
I think I'm pretty open. Open.
What I'm saying is,
I agree. Reggie made a good point. He did answer the question. Got more dance moves than Michael Jackson, but I get what he's saying, and to an extent, I agree. There's certain parents that put their kids in a Montessori school, and some will argue that it's a better environment for kids to grow and learn in. You know what I mean? But then there's also parents who put their kids in summer school every year, and then these kids grow up to be CEOs of companies.
I think
so.
It's like based off of whatever you choose. But my bad, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Like, what about your daughter?
No, that was it.
What about your daughter? Would you let your daughter go out like?
Fuck no. Fuck no. And then my daughter is around. I don't know. I think it sounds like Reggie got preteens. My daughter is a teenager. My daughter's 13 as well.
My girl's a 14.
Same age.
Yeah, so there's certain ideas. Now I am more open to communication, and I recognize times have changed, but there's certain ideas of how I feel like a lady should carry herself. You know what I mean? So that she doesn't put herself into, she can avoid adverse situations.
Feel like in a way you're training your daughter to be submissive to men? Because you as a man feel like you know what's best for her body?
Oh, you about to start a whole deep convo, I think.
No, that's cool. What run that question by me again? You broke up a little bit.
You don't feel like the lesson you're teaching in that instance is that you know what's best for her body as a man?
Not best for her body. That's why I brought up
the
foundational framework.
I'm not saying let her
lady.
Get out the house naked, but you have a definition of lady based off of antiquated like Christian notions.
But you just said something just now. You don't think it's your job to kind of teach your daughter how to be submissive to the right man?
Oh, nah, I'm not trying to teach my daughters to be submissive to anyone.
To the right? You serious?
Yeah. All right. Let me expound on
that. No, expound.
I want to hear this. This boy is a grass-eating lion. Pander.
I don't know what that means. It just sounds funny.
I mean, it's funny. It don't really mean nothing.
Good. No, we potting today. Go ahead, baby.
This nigga talks. He don't really be saying shit, but he talks. Yeah. So listen, what I'm saying is, when they're ready to be in a relationship, will they let a man take the lead? Yes, that doesn't necessarily mean you're being submissive. That's you taking
that's
part of submission though.
No, it's not.
That's not how it even works. It's never worked like that. Reggie want to reinvent the wheel in 2021.
Right. Go ahead.
Right. No, that's been going on for 2,000 years.
Link, tell me more, relationship expert.
I'm not a relationship.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm a YouTubian philosopher.
Yeah,
a YouTubian.
Nigga spent last episode telling us how his relationship didn't work out. Now he's giving me relationship advice.
I'm not giving you relationship advice. I'm not giving you. I ain't even say shit.
No, but go ahead.
I just see that you pandering right now. But go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, my daughters are going to be bosses. You feel me? We have an idea that for a relationship to work, somehow the woman has to water herself down. And I don't believe
false, though. That's not real submission though.
When she walks into the home, and she has a husband, yes she is.
My bad, we cut you off.
Water yourself down.
No, the shit, it doesn't make sense what you're saying. First of all, if they decide that they're in a relationship with a man, that they like the idea that somehow a man just automatically is the man and you're just gonna follow him is stupid.
No, the leader.
If he does,
be specific. The leader.
But to be a leader, you have to lead.
Yes, exactly.
And what's understood doesn't have to be spoken.
So you lead your household,
right?
don't you?
Yeah, but I do boss shit, which is why I lead my household. It's not just innate.
But that's not what we're talking about.
Yes, it is. So my daughters are going to be bosses, and if they run into a nigga who so happens to, they're not going to fall for bum shit.
But who's going to teach them not to fall for it, though?
Me.
That's what we talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, they already see how they're being treated by me. They're not going to accept less than that.
That's what we talking about.
But now, if they find a man that they feel like is acceptable, will they let him lead? Definitely.
And who would they learn that from? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But submission is a whole different thing.
No, I think everybody
Like
got different
That's submission, though. That's submission.
Women will
you literally describe submission.
Nah, women will automatically, like, the idea of submission that, I mean, the idea that I'm going to teach them to be subservient to some bum nigga is crazy to me.
That's not, see, your submission is the same as a lot of these black girls in our coach. Them, I don't want to submit to no man.
Yeah, Reggie talk just like a black girl.
Whoa, cooperating isn't the same thing as submission. You're talking about words that have two different definitions.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my submission is. I don't want
Then say cooperation.
I don't want a doormat,
submit.
but what? It depends.
Then say cooperation.
It depends on your definition. Yo, look up submission right now. Look up submissive.
Just say.
Look up in the Bible. In the Bible. In the Bible.
No, I'm not looking up in the Bible, dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm a Google submission right now.
All right.
Define submission. And I'll look up.
My daughter almost 3, but I'll be damned if I teach her how to be a doormat.
Wait,
you know what I'm saying?
The action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or will of authority. Nah, come on, I'm not doing that.
Look up married.
I'm not doing that. Nigga, fuck out of here.
Look up. This boy potting. He potting. Hey yo, look
superior?
Look up marital submission.
First of all,
look up marital submission.
Before my daughters are 18, one, they're gonna know how to run a business.
Yeah.
They're gonna be trustful babies.
As they should.
They're gonna be trustful babies. Bro, they're not gonna fall for bum shit. They've been riding in luxury cars since they were infants.
Reggie, let's be clear. I'm saying again, no one's talking about that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's submission. You asked me to look up
my daughter's almost 3. I would never teach her to be a nigga's doormat. You know what I'm saying?
So then
listen what's so crazy. Reggie said he's the leader of his house because he does boss shit. So they've grown up seeing that their father is the leader. Their mother follows their father because the father is the leader. So why wouldn't they want to, just by what is it called, osmosis, why wouldn't they want to enter into a relationship to where they walk in the home from being bosses that they submit to a qualified leader?
Whoa. So qualified is the word there. I'm glad you chose that. Mm-hmm. So first of all, if you're in a partnership and you have a woman that cooperates, it's one thing for her to trust the fact that your leadership is what's in the best interest of everyone in the household. The woman, even though the man is the head of the household, the woman is like the backbone of the spine. Mm-hmm. She has to trust that the decisions you're making are what's best for the household, or there's going to be fucking chaos. Of course, there has to, in a lot of cases, be that one person who's like, listen, I feel strongly we should go this way, and then she's going to be like, all right, if you feel that strongly about it, we'll be a leader. But that doesn't mean let the nigga walk all over you or just accept it.
No, nobody even said, why you went to the dramatic? Nobody even said that.
But that's what the word submit
means. You didn't even like what Webster had to say about submission.
Cooperate doesn't mean submit. It's not the same thing.
Well, listen. I don't want to get into a war of semantics. At the end of the day, it's about, because the submission, for some reason, modern people look at it like that. You got to be a doormat. That's not really what it is. It's like, yo, can you cooperate? Can you help me lead when I need it? Can you have my back? I could have your back. You could be the foundation. I'll be the backbone. Can we work fucking together? That's what it is.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. And I'm with that.
All that shit. I mean, I'm married. You know what I mean? My woman is submissive, but not on some loser type shitbag, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Doormat, but she understands.
But you've established that you're the leader in the household. You provide. You make sure she's straight. You make sure she's secure.
Right.
You respect her. You carry yourself a certain way. You treat her like a queen. There's so much that comes with that we're leaving out when we just say submit.
And to make a full circle, that's what I'm saying. It's our job to teach our daughters like the right. They're gonna see it by example. They're gonna see it by example.
What to accept from men and when it's okay to take a step back. No one's saying be uncooperative, but at the same time, don't accept shit from nobody.
And, like,
and you're always in a
Reggie will
position.